My name is Joseph Lloyd and I'm an independent vehicle consultant. I find cars for people. Over the past year on my YouTube channel, I've done a series of about 25 reviews known as the Tweed Jacket reviews, where I've reviewed and assessed cars of all different shapes and sizes, old and new, expensive and cheap. I've had some feedback though from some of my viewers who obviously love the reviews, but want something a little bit less expensive. And so I present to you no budget reviews, all filmed on a phone, no fancy editing, no fluid head tripods, no DSLRs, just honest cars for less than £1,000 that you can pick up on the second-hand market. So join me on an adventure around the country as we go and find these cars for less than £1,000, and we have a lot of fun doing so. Welcome to another episode of No Budget Reviews. I'm very privileged today to have this beautiful 2003 MG TF135, which has been bought by Tom. Tom has an Instagram account, I am Tom Bailey, if you want to see more photographs of this car. That's not the sound of the engine, by the way, that's the sound of a Volvo 240 that you would have already seen. That's going off to be repatriated by its owner. This is a considerably nicer car though. Now you can buy an MG TF for under £1,000. You can even buy one for £500 still, which I find to be ridiculous actually. This car would have cost a lot more than that. It's a very low mileage example. You could actually tell by the key fob it's a 2003 car because it's got the Pectron remote and not the Lucas one. Step out of the way here so I don't get run over. Being a TF, it's got the completely new front end. It was based on the MGF, which came out in 1995, but in 2002 they changed quite a lot of things in the car, including things like the induction system. So this is a 1.8 litre K series engine with 135 horsepower. The MGFs, the 1.8 only ever reached 143 with the VVC version and 120 for the normal one. 1.6s, they changed from 110 to 115 horsepower. Of course, if you have the TF 160 or the MGF Trophy, then it's 160 horsepower, and then of course you can tune and modify these things. I think we're actually going to start with the engine compartment. So Tom, would you mind just opening that up for me? The TF being mid-engined means the engine's in here, and the access is, well, it's not great, to be honest. This is where it sits, and I don't even know how you do a lot of the jobs on this car. I presume what you do is kind of drop the engine out or move the hood out of the way or something. But you can obviously use the oil filler cap, which is off an MG3 as well and other cars, and coolant reservoir here. It's very, 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 very clean. I don't know if the head gasket's been done on this car at some point. Either that or it's been incredibly well looked after. Of course, we have our MG brand accessories and a tonneau cover. The roof is up at the moment because it is slightly drizzling, which you know, is our British summer. But there we go. There is also another compartment in the front. If I pull this lever just here, it's not actually a bonnet, it is a front boot or fruit, or if you're in America they call it a frunk. Just going to pause and pull that open. So here we have an immaculate spare wheel. There's a full size one actually on there. Got the tools down there, windscreen washer reservoir, remote servo in this car, so it's not in front of the driver. For some reason you've got two battery trays. I don't really know why, but there we go. Fuse box and things up here, and I suppose you could get a small amount of luggage in here as well. It's not really sort of a shopping car, this. It's more, you know, having fun on country roads, but useful nevertheless. Okay. Now, this car has been very, very thoroughly cleaned, so I'm okay not to wear gloves in it. Tom's not been here for a while, so that should be fine. I'm going to continue having the roof up. Oh, it's a bit difficult getting it with the roof up. Okay, so we've got loads and loads and loads of 1990s Honda and Rover switchgear in here. Stalks that come out of a Rover 400 or a 45 like the one I've got. Unique dials though to an MG, or they look suspiciously like the ones on an R8. Gosh, the whole kind of layout of the dashboard is the same as on my 1991 216. And the automatic transmission would be kind of in the middle of where those warning lights are. How extraordinary. Rover 25 pre-facelift hazard light switch, electric window switches. They're not actually off a 35, they're off something else, I don't know what, but this gear lever is lovely. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Ashtray, of course, and a 12-volt socket. You even got a glove box in here. A lot of sports cars don't even come with them. I'm not sure you can get too many secret mission documents in there, but there we go. Not really any door pockets in here, but you know what you expect for a car like this. Little sort of storage in here, and it's got cup holders as well. How practical is that? Excellent. It's a very comfortable driving position actually. It's lovely. It's like an MX-5 or something like that. Pedals in here are. There's an aluminium one as well. Of course, we've got some MG branded floor mats. The interior light seems to be there. Of course, the only place you can put that on a sports car is either there or in a mirror, like on an MX-5. And we've even got an oil temperature gauge in there as well. It's pretty classy. Original stereo, I think, for this car. No air conditioning. You don't need air conditioning in a car like this, do you, really? What do you need that for? Again, Rover 25 or 200 R3 vents and things. We'll look at the door cards. Those little latches will be familiar to anyone who's had an R8 as well. They look a bit like that. Hard plastic up there, but if I pull this just a bit further, you can see the material's pretty nice actually. No door pockets, as I've said. Now the doors do sag sometimes on right-hand drive MG TS, but this one's absolutely fine. And the mirror there is the same as on a Metro, Rover 100, or of course a Lotus Elise. Excellent. Straight how the roof goes up and down. It's actually pretty easy. So you release one catch either side here. I'll just zoom in on these catches there. Both catches go like that, and then you can just pull the roof down. Be very careful that you push that bit down, just don't break the screen or anything like that. Post 2005 TFs have a heated screen. This one is a 2003, so it doesn't. Now there is a tonneau cover in there, but we're not going to put that on today because it would take too long. And then if you want to put it back up, you just release those two, you pull it forward, and then once you get in, you can see there the catch goes like that. It's pretty simple, really. One other thing as well, if you wouldn't just mind putting that sun visor down for me, Tom. You can see the sun visor is absolutely tiny. They're tinier than on an MX-5, and you know that cover for the mirror looks really flimsy, but it's still held on, and this car's 17 years old, so it can't be that bad. Yeah, excellent. I think it's time that I went out for a little drive actually, but I might just get a little panning interior shot before I do that. Right, here we are. This is going to be fun. A little bit faster, I think, than a Volvo 240. So got the lights on today, wipers on. Okay, that's first, I think. And off we go. Oh, the sound of the K-Series. Had a few K-Series engine cars in my time. Sort this ventilation out. There we go. It's better for me. Apologies, it's a bit dark. I have to drive with the roof up today for the simple reason that if I have the roof down, I might get a bit wet, and it's not my car. And also, you'll get better sound if I have the roof this way too. So, steel suspension, not hydrogas suspension, in an MG TF. Steering wheel from something like a Rover 25. And of course a lot of the engine. So, basic engine in one of these. 1.6 litre engine, 115 horsepower. Second engine up was the 1.8 automatic. That was called the Steptronic. That had 120 horsepower. Then there was this one. This is a TF135. This has 135 horsepower. Then at the top of the range is the VVC version, variable valve timing. That was MG Rover's own system, and 160 horsepower. The MGF that came before had slightly different power outputs to this. The trim levels available, well, there weren't really as such trim levels. The cars were badged by their power output, so TF, 120, etc. Like this is a TF135. There were a load of special editions, like the LE80, which was in 2004. And then, towards the end of production, which obviously the car was built after the MG Rover company went bankrupt in 2005, there was the LE500, which was the sort of standard one. I think Nanjing Automotive were responsible for the LE500. They were the company which owned various intellectual properties of the MG Rover company after their bankruptcy, and they had an engine on the car that was called the N series. It was a modified K series. Supposedly that actually got rid of the head gasket issues that a lot of K series engines suffer with. Now, if you have a car that has got a decent head gasket on it, Victor Ryan's head gaskets are quite good. Some people like the MLS type head gaskets, although it really depends actually whether the head has been prepared and the block has been prepared well when you make them back together if you're doing a head gasket change, as to what kind of quality you're going to get. The 2004 Rover 45 1.4 Club SE I used to have, that had a head gasket done in about 2009 before I bought it, and that had been done quite badly because the head gasket went again after about 3 years. So if you don't do them right, it doesn't matter quite what parts you use, they can be a little bit of a pain. So yeah, I'm not going to sort of come down on the side of which one to use. I know the Victor Ryan's ones are good, but it will depend on who's done the work on your car for you. In terms of this particular car, it is good fun. The steering is really lovely. It's very, very nice. It's not too heavy, but it is very direct. Reminds me of a lot of these other MG Rover models available at the time. The suspension's a little bit firm, as you can see the camera's bouncing around a bit. That's okay. Just go up here. I like the total delivery of a K-Series engine. I've had 3 K series powered cars in my life, although they all had the 103 1.4 litre version of it, and this with considerably more power is just a little bit better. I'm just going to pull over actually, and I'll just change the camera angle, as we always do on No Budget Reviews. Let's just pull over here for a second. Apologies for the camera mount being in the way. That's always what I have to live with this particular mount. But off we go again. Yes. The gearbox, when I first got in this car, was a little bit on the sort of obtrusive side. I don't think they're the easiest gearboxes to actually use. I don't remember offhand what they're called on this particular car. They're not obviously quite the same as the ones that went into the Rover 25 and 45, because this is a mid-engine car. Having the engine behind you, it sort of plays a bit with your ears, because you're maybe expecting it noise to come from the front, but it doesn't. It comes from right behind where your left ear is, and it sounds glorious. It feels glorious to drive this car. The steering in an MX-5 is probably a little bit better than this. It's still really good, and the ride is quite jiggly, but I do like it. The only issue really was that the MX-5 was probably a bit more reliable than one of these. I know they rusted quite badly. Let's just pull that up slightly if we can. There we go. The MX-5s of this era, the NBs, and you know, I did review an MX-5 on my channel last year if you want to have a look at that review. They do rust quite badly. This car is in such excellent condition that, you know, there's no rust of any type on it. It's only done 30,000 miles. And so, you know, you're looking at a lot more than £1,000 for something like this. But you know, if you don't mind a little bit of project, you can work on mid-engine cars, or you know, a good specialist like Summit Garage in Dudley, where this car has had some work, then it should be okay. Let's just try it around that corner. Whoa, that feels good. Feels wonderful to be driving this British sports car on a day like today, when it's finally cleared up. Especially as we're here in the Midlands, not far from where this car was made in 2003. Right, well, we've made our way back, so I'll just pull up and we'll conclude here. Right, well, the sun's come out, so I've got the hood down again. Thank you ever so much indeed for watching this episode of No Budget Reviews. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, to like this video and to leave a comment below. Should you buy an MG TF? Well, I think so. You've got to be aware of some of the car's heritage issues, shall we say, the head gaskets and the doors slightly sagging and other things, and whatever you do, don't lose the remote, because they are often a pain to program. But yes, I very much enjoyed this. Very much enjoyed it. I possibly even more than I expected. I've got an Instagram account, instagram.com/Lloyd
Lloyd_Vehicle_Consulting, Facebook page, facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. And if you wish me to source a car for you, it could be anything. It doesn't have to be a convertible, although I suppose it could be. Then please get in touch via my website, www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk, and there should be a contact tab on that page for you to get in touch with me directly. Thank you ever so much indeed for watching.